Oh my gosh. Hello, dear friends. Hello. Hello, everyone. Hi, hello. Emma, cheesy Doubletree, double day. Hello, hello, Frank. La Passus. Hello, bonjour. Hello, hello, everyone. Hi from the Netherlands, Mike Waddington. How good to see all your names, seriously. How lovely to see you all, truly. Oh, Joe Cummins-Mosley, Mark, darling. Vincent, hi. I'm doing better. I'm a little bit of a softer version of myself, but then I don't need to pretend in front of you, my friends. You know exactly who I am. I won't be ranting today. Hi, Joel. Hey there. No, Amy, how great to see you. I won't be ranting today. I'll just be talking about the thing that means the most to me right now, which of course is our love of dogs. I told you when I came back it would be to celebrate animals in our lives. Hey, Greg. Oh, it's so lovely. Hey, Jock. How great just how special, how important, how much it means to us all. It's the only thing I can talk about right now. I can't rant. I can't even get it up to rant at this point. And you wouldn't want me to rant. You want me to be me and to be honest and authentic. So I'm going to honor and celebrate the beautiful, oh, thank you, Beth, the beautiful passing of my beautiful dog. But I don't want it just to be about Doris. Here she is. I don't want it just to be about Doris. I want it to be about all of us, thousands of us, it turns out, who've written to me. All of you. Kate, darling. Oh, thank you. I don't feel so beautiful, I have to say, but thank you. I did actually put makeup on. Eye makeup on for the first time in 10 days because it's just been, it's just been the Hoover Dam here. It's been Niagara Falls. It's been nothing but sobbing. So I can see I have eyes now, which is interesting. So, but now I want to talk about, hi, Steve. Hello, Naoko Yamagishi. Hello, hi, hello. Oh, my muffin is asleep in my arms. Oh, darling. Well, Doris does have wings. And I thought I'd take this opportunity to thank you all. I mean, honestly, who would believe that social media would be so incredible and make someone like me, hey Jane, feel so supported and cared about. And all the messages that I got, all the posts, all the messages, all the emails from you and thousands literally of people talking about, hey Kimberly, how heartbroken they have been in losing one of their animal friends, their animal family. Hey Sue, you'll understand this completely, having told me the story of your beautiful Labrador. So this is my first time speaking to anybody. It's my first time really actually talking or divulging in anybody except sobbing on other people's dogs and learning how to speak again. I haven't actually been able to sing until today, and I knew today, hi Harold, that I would in fact be able to sing. Just one song, but one is enough. And I'm so glad I'm back too. I've missed you all so much, but literally I could not speak. I couldn't form a sentence. I have been a miserable sack of human detritus or whatever that's called. Or, I don't know what I've been lying in my own filth and wallowing in it because one must. But I have a story to tell and I want to share it with you all because it has been amazing. All the stories about people losing their animals, losing their dogs, their cats, how they miss them still, how there was that one special one in their lives. It is amazing because remember I said before about how, I'm glad I'm back to dog, darling. Remember I said how our animals make us the best human beings that we can be, and particularly during COVID. That's why all the shelters are empty, because everybody wants a dog. Let's hope it's not just for Christmas or a cat, They bring out the best in us. They allow us to be our softer, kinder, gentler, better selves. And God knows that's what was amazing to me. If I'd spoken about a different topic, I would have got a few replies, a few people who have written to me. I got thousands of people writing to me, telling me about their relationships with their dogs, with their animals, with their cats, with those ones that they love, that make them connected to their humanity. My sister's on, so I can start, darling Sue. And big thanks to Sue. Thank you. Like that. Big thanks to my sister and to the fabulous Pam Halstead for seeing me through all of this bullshit in the last... It's not bullshit. It's just grief, utter grief in the last 10 days. So here we go. Here's my story, people. Here we go. I'm at the big piano today, so you know it's going to be serious. I thanked you all. And, you know, right now, you've heard me rage. You've heard me rant. I am at an all-time lowest ebb towards my feelings about humanity. Aren't we all? I mean, for fuck's sake, let's not forget that that is the name of the show. I'm going to call it Gratitude, Thank God for Dogs, for fuck's sake. I don't know. I mean, I don't know how you're doing in Britain, but in America, this fucking place, we're number one. We are number one again with COVID. We're number one. It is everywhere. People are acting like it's not happening. It's never happened. No masks, no nothing. My friends from Britain tell me that no one's wearing a mask either, but I don't think you're in the situation wherein it is fucking kicked off. It's kicked off. My feeling about human beings and the proud to be stupids is an all-time high, as in my anger. You know it is. And perhaps that's what Doris got me through, you see. I had somewhere to put my... and you... screaming at you, good people. That was the other thing. But you know, here's the weird thing in life. So there I am in Australia earlier this year, Doug, at the Port Fairy Festival, and I told Doris before I left, this is the last time I'm going to be traveling this year. I have a feeling I won't be away again. I'll be home. I was right. Of course I was right. I saw what was coming. And when I came home, there she was waiting for me, like she's always waiting for me. And she's older, and things weren't right with her legs, blah, blah, blah. You know, you know when you've got an older dog. You worry all the time. But COVID, you know how, again, the silver lining about being with your family, spending time with people you love, actually getting your priorities right, figuring out what it is that you want to do with your life, even though it's driving you crazy and you feel locked down, blah, blah. It allowed me to not be on the road. I would have been touring, right, Steve? I would have been away. I'd have been all over the place. I would have been touring. I got to be so present for my dog when she needed me the most. That is my silver lining. I got to do, for fuck's sakes, twice a week with you. I got to do the thing I want to do in my life and do my own little variety show, but I really got to spend time with my darling girl. I got to nurse her. I got to take care of her. I got to do everything that I needed to do. And so for me, this has been the silver lining. And I don't want to say thank you, COVID-19, because that's fucked up, for fuck's sake. That is so fucked up. But otherwise, I would have been on the road dreaming of her, yearning for her, wishing that I was there. I mean, so, bit of a high price to pay, but I'm so grateful that I couldn't leave, that I couldn't go anywhere. Imagine if I'd been on the road and this had happened. So for the thousands of comments that I've had from people on the similar lines, you know, the weirdest one, of course, is that the one thing that I've heard more than anything is people saying it was worse than losing a human. Now, I want to talk about this because all of us who've lost people, our family, our fellow human beings, we all know the devastation. We all know how absolutely shocking and impossibly hard that is. But here's the thing that makes it different from animal deaths. There's no complications in our relationships with our animals. There's no arguing. There's no Machiavellian underlying reason why they do things. There's no sort of like, there's no strangeness there. It's really very, very straightforward. And then when your animal dies, you realize that those creatures are just a pure mirror of you. And they think, great, no matter how bloody flawed you are and awful in many ways, they only see you as the beginning, middle, and end of all their lives, and the way that they get their food and the ball thrown. And so, you know, it's really something that is indescribable, and you don't get it unless you've had an animal and that you love animals and you love your animal family. People who don't have this really just think, oh, for fuck's sake, you know, she's losing her fucking rag, it's a dog, get over it. No, it's not. It's not a dog. It's just not a dog. It's not just a dog. It is a family member. Can I hear an oh yes about that from all of you that understand? That all of you, for fuck's sake, who understand. It's not just a dog or a cat. Now, I always thought it was worse for people like me, motherless women, barren queens, who, you know, had never actually had a child, therefore they just indulged and nurtured their animals, their dogs, because that was the source of their mother-child instinct. It turns out that is not the case, because children turn into teenagers who hate you and swear at you and say, I fucking hate you, and you wish you were dead, and you just made me sick, you just want to own me. And dogs don't. Dogs and cats, they don't ever get past, I think it is 2 or 3 years old. And that's the smartest one. That's like the border collie. They don't even get past that. So what they're looking at is they're looking at you as, you're my world, you're my world, you're my world. And they never hate you, and they never resent you, and they never want to leave home and grow up and get married and go off and have their own children. It's wonderful. And that, in its own sad little fucked up way, is why we love them so much, because they're always our babies. And guess what? We don't say, hey, can you clear up after playing with those toys, please? You know where they go, back in the box. We don't say that. Make your bed. Oh, no. I mean, there's nothing we wouldn't do for animals. There's nothing we wouldn't... Okay, you've torn up that. All right, we'll get it recovered. There's nothing you'd never talk to a human that way. It'd be like, get your fucking room together, get rid of those toys. Come on, you know. No, we don't expect it. We know they don't get past 2. They're forever our children. That's the truth. And in being a constant child that doesn't scream at you and can't speak, oh, that's the best bit. That silent understanding that they have, that communication that we have, the cross-species communication, that is mind-blowing and feels, you know, like when you go to like see wild animals. I remember when I was in Botswana, you stand by me here, Sue Flood, and I'm there with Kathy the elephant that broke my heart, that I'm so in love with. I hope she's okay. And I looked into Kathy's eyes, and there was and I fell in love with Kathy, and Kathy just looked into me like she looked right inside me. I mean, it was just ridiculous. And the silent understanding was like nothing I've ever come across in my entire life. That's what we have with our animal family. That's what we have. That's what we have with creatures. And then you're standing there going, I'm communicating with an elephant. The elephant understands me, recognizes me when I turn the corner and see her the next day, and maybe when I go back and see her next year, she'll know who I am. She will know me. She'll recognize me, and she'll remember me emotionally. That's why we love animals. It's thrilling to know that cross-species, Sue Flood, wildlife photographer, you get this all the time, to know that you can connect on that level is astounding. It's a miracle. It's miraculous. And we get that in our pets. We get that. They're not really, pets isn't the right word. We get that in an animal family, and it's remarkable, and it surprises us and amazes us all the time. We expect it of humans, not of animals. So that's why the loss is so extreme. It really is something else. And, you know, I had a language. We all, I think, have languages for our animals. I had a language which was kind of Russian, which I'm going to share with you for maybe the last time, but I would go, don't we all make that noise? And that's what I would say to Doris while I was rubbing her belly. And it's like dog Russian, I would call it, because you only do that to babies and dogs. I mean, you can't help yourself. It's like, because they know by the sound that what you're saying is, I love you. I love you. That's what they know, you know. And then, unlike children and parrots, for fuck's sake, they live these really short lives. They live these fucking short lives. Yeah, isn't it the most amazing feeling, Sue? And that's the torture, to have this relationship with a creature from another species who understands more than any a human could ever understand, silently, completely, emotionally. And then if you're lucky, they live for 13 years. I've been very, very lucky with both my dogs. But 13 years is nothing for us. And that's what a friend of mine said, who'd also lost her dog a few days before I lost Doris. You know, when you start to have to play God, and fuck, that's the worst thing in the world, playing God, having to decide whether they live, whether you can bear a day without them. The choice you make is for them, not for you. Good choice for them, bad choice for you. And that's the truth. And then, of course, comes the, you could have lived another week. You could have lived another... No. They do tell you. They do look at you. They do let you know. And they're only staying for you. That's the hardest part. They're staying for you. So... then comes up the question that I had after this happened. If we can stop the pain in our animals, why do we have to watch human beings go through that? I spoke to another friend yesterday about how much worse it felt losing a dog, or as much, if different, but more harrowing than his dad, and again the complications, and again we agreed. Why couldn't he have stopped his dad from going what his dad went through at the end? Why couldn't he have done that? Why can't we? I know legally it's a whole shit show of, did people bump people off on purpose? How do we know that it was time? But honestly, it's like life at what cost? You do it to an animal. You would do it to the thing you care about the most, to the creature you adore, because you cannot bear them to suffer. Humans, you know what? Here's my perfect death. In the arms, I'll be surrounded by Labradors, okay? And there'll be Dr. Labrador. There'll be a Dr. Labrador by then. They'll have opposable thumbs. And the Dr. Labrador will inject me whilst the others just cuddle up next to me and smell of popcorn. That's how I'd like to go, please. Can you sort that? That's the way. So the minute I start suffering, surround me. Labrador shot. That's all I ask for. I hope that'll be it. That's all I can say. Because here's the thing. Both my dogs saw me through appalling depression, appalling anxiety, and Doris saw me through the COVID, you know. I realize it's the distraction. Of course everybody wants a dog right now. The distraction of having that dog, taking care of a dog, the fact that it keeps you getting up, having to feed, taking out, having to look after, nursing, taking to physiotherapy. I mean, this is all such a part of my life. I don't quite know what to do with myself. And you know, the thing is, the dog before this, Victor, if anybody remembers Victor, he was a giant bear of a dog. I think he was Labrador Husky mix. And he was a huge bear. But Victor had a very different life with me. I want to tell you about the story of my two dogs. Victor had a very different life because I wasn't that well when I had Victor. He had to endure the brunt of my depression. So he would wait for me on the bed in the morning. He would never make me wake up or get up early because he knew I couldn't, because it would take so much to get me up and out because I was in such a bad state. He'd wait. He was the perfect dog for me then. I mean, it's like they choose you also. I don't know how it happens, but he was the perfect antidote to what was wrong with me. And he'd wait. He was very calm, and he was very handsome, he was very proud, and he was very stately. And he didn't need a lot of cuddling and too much attention. He just wanted to be adored from a distance because he was so good looking. And he was that perfect dog for that time. And I met him and I found him because of my dear friend Rob Long. And this is where I want to get to. So because of Rob that I got Doris as well. Rob Long, one of my dearest friends in the world. So Rob's walking past my house in LA, and he goes past my house and he's got this gorgeous puppy with him. And I said, Rob, oh my God. And Rob lived around the corner from us. And I said, "What? That's the most incredible puppy I've ever seen. I mean, it was like a tiny miniature bear. It was ridiculous, like a little grizzly, tiny, about this big." And he said, and there's another guy with Rob, and he said, "Do you want one? We've got one left." And I went, yeah, the runt, I bet. That's usually how it works out. And he said, "No, actually, he's the best looking of the bunch. He's the best of the litter. It's just that the person that put down the reserve on him never picked him up. Something must have happened, and now he's just sitting there waiting for somebody to take him home." And I was like, "I'll bring him over tomorrow," they said. He brought over what I can only describe as a giant bear, a giant fluffy puppy-sized enormo bear, and it was love at first sight, and it was just incredible. And there was Victor, Victor and his brother Cohiba living just around the corner from each other, seeing each other every day, having the greatest life, always together, always having fun. Rob, me, Harry, genius. The most amazing time, the most amazing stories. So when Cohiba and Victor died, within 6 months of each other, Victor last, Rob had been in grief and had a terrible time and had been grieving and had decided he was ready for another dog. I wasn't, but he said, it's okay. If you're interested, I found the most incredible situation for the two of us. I found another couple of siblings, girls this time, that I think are going to be perfect. And here's the amazing story. And it's the one I want to share with you today because it's gorgeous. And I can only think about Doris and think of happiness and joy because that's who she was. This is how I met Doris. So Rob, who is a comedy writer and producer, an amazing, amazing, talented guy, he's working at Paramount Films, and he's over at the studios. And one day he bumps into the animal trainer, the friend of his who does all the the animal things. And when he was a writer and producer on Cheers, he'd met this woman, and she'd brought dogs in and that kind of stuff and trained them for the show. And he bumps into her, and she says, "How are things?" And he says, "I'm a wreck. My dog has just died." And she said, "Oh my gosh, well, might you be interested in another dog? I mean, not right now, but like in 6 months." And he said, "Well, I think I might be ready." And she said, "Well, it just so happens that I've had to source 30 Labrador puppies. 30 Labrador puppies. Because there's this film, Marley and Me, that's being made, and I'm getting the dogs, and I'm training them, and I'm housebreaking them, and I'm going to house them. I'm going to find homes for them, and then they won't be ready for 5 months, 6 months. So if you're okay with that, then that's great." He calls me up and says, "I found the most incredible thing," because Victor had died in November, and this must have been March, I think. And he said, "I found the most, end of March, I think it was. I found the most amazing situation. These two girls this time, they're beautiful. Here you can have here's what they look like. Which one do you want?" I said, the fat one with the enormo head. That's how I choose my puppies. I'm always right. And that's how it was. I knew I was going out on the road. I was going on tour, and that would have been perfect. It was a time enough for me to grieve over Victor. And you know what it's like. A house that's had a dog in it with no dog. Oh, it's the saddest thing in the world. I was walking in the door, not hearing the little clatter of feet and it's the worst. So off I went. I'm on the road. I get a phone call from Rob. He says, Jude, change of plan. They're here." Who? The girls. Right now, they're in a crate, in a big baby crate, kind of enclosure in my living room. They look like two giant, gorgeous, blonde piglets lying next to each other. And it turns out that the director or somebody had to be, who knows at this point, somebody can tell me what's the correct thing, but decided that whatever season it was, that would have been, let me see, April. Yes, it would have been April time, I guess. And it was meant to be happening summer, so April, May, June is where the puppies would have been used. The director decided he wanted to start filming the scenes in winter. Thank you. And when the animal trainer said to him, "But you do understand they're going to be 2x, 3 times the size and they won't look like puppies anymore," he said, "What do you mean?" Now here's a dog, about dogs, about dog lovers, for dog lovers. And we have a situation where perhaps we don't understand the actual growing of the dogs. Anyway, so she had to immediately find the homes for all the 30 dogs. They're not trained, they're not housebroken, they're not nothing. They are just gorgeous fat piglets. So I come home a week later, and Rob brings them over, and they're in this big, lovely little enclosure. Well, it's big, lovely little, you know what I mean, big old thing, in the middle of the dining room, the very room where Doris left us. Comes Doris and her sister Ely, and they're lying there like two snoring pigs. And our very, 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 very spiteful, tetchy but gorgeous cat Ella is looking like this through the mesh through the mesh entrance at them, as if to say, they're not fucking coming in this house. These things are from Mars. I hate them. That's not happening. No fucking way. So, but she dealt with it. So there they were. And I fell in love with Doris because what does it matter? She was there early. What did it matter? I had to train and housebreak, and it was a fucking nightmare. It was a disaster. She was the craziest, most loving, most incredible dog I'd ever come across in my life. And from the first month of having her, I realized that every time I went to the piano and played and sang, she would fall asleep. Now, I realized that this was actually a compliment. At first, I was slightly unsure. But every time I sang, and then of course, as you all know, she would lie at my feet. She was always at my feet. If I played the piano, she would fall asleep, curl up. She was in a happy place because that's what she associated with me, who was wrapped around her from day one. When I was away on the road, Pam, who I could not have done without, and I hope you're watching, Pam, because honestly, without you, I could not have been the touring musician that was and mum to Doris. You were Auntie Mame, and she loved you so much, and I thank you so much for that. But when I was away, she was at Pam's feet listening to classical music, and when every time the piano came on, she would fall asleep. And it's an incredible thing to think about. Now, the end of this story, it gets even funnier when it comes to Marley and me. That same woman, the animal trainer, it turns out, she finds another 30 dogs, 30 puppies, American labs, the long, gangly, fantastic-looking labs. Not the, shovel-nosed British labs like I would come back as. So she finds another 30. She gets ready, she finds homes for them, she gets ready to start training them, and then Owen Wilson has his thing. He gets depressed and he has a breakdown, I believe. And there was that whole thing, if you recall, and it was put on hold again. Okay? 60 dogs that she's found. So finally, she ended up sourcing 99. I believe this is the story, and anybody can tell me if I'm wrong here, but I believe it was around about 90 dogs that she finally got, between 80 and 90 dogs, when everything was said and done. But all I can say is, my Doris was meant to be in Marley and Me. It probably wouldn't have ended up in Marley and Me because they ended up, I'm sure, getting male dogs, but either way, she was that handsome, as you can see, with the Marley and Me look, as you can see here, you see. But I have Marley and Me to thank very much, and Rob Long, for getting me my tiny little squiglet, who became my best friend in the world. And it's the interesting thing because she spent happier times with me because I was in a better place and I was getting well and I was getting healthier the whole time I was with her. And she was that right dog for that. Do you know what I'm saying? How we attract the thing that's in us. And they're mirroring you the whole time, so they take it on, but it's also sometimes the personalities that have to start out there. And as leaving got harder and harder with Doris, as going on the road, it got harder and harder and harder as she got older, and I got to tour more, and then Dad got sick, and then I was in Britain a lot, and then I was over in Europe. It got harder and harder because we know how short their lives are. We know how hard it is for them. And people say, why didn't you take her on the road? Well, I didn't, because she had her pack, and her pack was her cats, Ella and Duke, was Pam, Auntie May, and was Pam's cats, who thought Doris was their mum. And she loved her home and she loved her life. And it was bad for me, and it was right for her. And that, I think, really is all that I can say. I've felt heartbroken most of the time that I've been on the road. Talk to Lee Sklar any time about how it is to be on the road when you miss your dog. It's weird, your wife, your husband, they can get on planes, they can come and meet you, they can find you, but your dog? And whenever things have got hard, whenever I've been down, whenever I've had struggled, it's Doris I want to be wrapped around. And there won't be another Doris. Like, for all of you who know this, we love our animals, we love all our creatures, our family, but some are different. Some are more special than others. You can't change that. You can't make that any different. They're all special. They all bring us something so remarkable. But Doris was something else. Anybody that saw us together. And you saw us, of course, with her in the background. It was something else. You know, right now, I can't actually watch American television because it makes me so ill and angry and just so fed up that I'm human and not a Labrador. But I can watch David Attenborough Soufflade, and I watched him last night talking about the curiosity of giant pandas giving birth to the smallest babies in the world and the kiwi giving birth to the largest egg the size of an ostrich. And I can watch that, and it's the reason why we all love watching those videos of animals doing silly things and misbehaving and puppies and fucking everything that is animals, because it brings the blood pressure down and it calms us and it makes us realize that we are the least attractive creatures on the planet. But when we see them, when we're around them, we actually become quite lovely. Quite lovely. And we are able to be silly and childish and childlike and loving, and we can open our hearts without feeling we're losing anything, and we can be weak and flawed and damaged and desperate and needy and vain and narcissistic, and they don't care. We're perfect. So I want to thank all the dogs in all our lives and all the animals that have made you and me and everyone on this planet grateful to wake up in the morning. I remember waking up. That was part of the biggest joy of my life, was waking up and looking at Doris's exquisite face. Yes, she slept between Harry and I. She was huge. She would spoon us both at different times, turn over and do one and then the other. And this dog was so clever and so brilliantly funny that she realized that the only way to wake up a late starter like me in the morning was to actually put her full body weight on my bladder. And she would sit on my stomach and make damn sure I got up rather than wet myself, basically, let's be honest. She knew how to wake me up. That's how smart she was. So I will always see her in my memories. We'll always see our beautiful animal family. We'll see them in every park that we went together with them, on the beach, in our cars driving them around. We'll feel joy when we see others and loss. You see them everywhere, and you're so damn grateful. And in every photo that I put all around the house, the photos that are in my own mind, you just see them everywhere. And I'm so fucking grateful. I am so grateful to have had this remarkable creature in my life. I'm grateful to have loved that much. I couldn't love for so long for fear of loss, because I knew how it felt to love with all your heart and to lose everything at a very young age. But these dogs, they teach you how to do it again. They do. They do. So it seems perfect that I leave you and sing this one song today, because it's the only one I can probably get out. And it is a song from El Legado, you know, the musical that I'm writing about Picasso's muses. Well, this seems like the perfect song, because it is about gratitude and how, along the lines of, it is better to love and to lose than to have never have loved. Because with great love comes great, appalling pain. But that is life, that is living. That is what it's all about. And it is a privilege to love that much. And that is what animals teach us. So, here is a song for us all us animal lovers who know this love.
I see you next to me, that's fine. I don't mind you, 'cause I've been lost in love before, and it makes me grateful. You don't need to worry, 'cause I'm fine here without you. Pictures on the mantle of my mind help me get through, 'cause I've been lost in love before, and it makes me grateful. All of those years, all of those fears, the highs and the lows, what have we to show? We take and we give, and that's all there is. All that I know is I've been lost in love before, and it makes me grateful. Makes me grateful. I've been lost in love before, and it makes me grateful. Makes me grateful. I've been lost in love before, and it makes me grateful. Makes me grateful. I've been lost. I've been lost. And I'm so grateful. I've been lost. I've been lost. And I'm so grateful.
Thank you all so much for your continued support and love and kindness. And you have helped so much. Thank you. Thank you. Thank you from her. Thank you, Pam. Thank you, my sister Sue, for helping me get through. And I will see you Wednesday, and I'm sure I'll be back to ranting. And if I'm not, Rachel, darling, if I'm not, I'm not. But I'll see you then. And I'm so glad to be back. Thank you all so very, very much for hanging on and waiting for me to come back. I'll see you Wednesday for another For Fuck's Sake. Until then, I thank you so much. My gratitude is absolutely yours. Take care, look after yourself, keep wearing those masks, keep washing those hands, keep 6 foot away, you know that. Keep out of those fucking pubs in Britain. And I'll see you on Wednesday. Love you guys.